Oh, hello. I'm so sorry we're so late today. Um, so it was scheduled for 7, wasn't it? 7:30, and then I've moved it and moved it and moved, and then we were late for the 10. So terrible, I know, but it's what mum life is, I'm afraid. How is everybody? Oh, how are you, Lady Letitia?
I'm great. Like you said, mom's work is never done.
It really isn't. No, but it's just what it is. It's Monday. Remember, Monday's hard. Can you
Yes.
hear me okay? Because it says my connection's unstable.
No, I can hear
But
you
it's
okay.
yeah, okay. Let's just hope that
Hmm.
stays the way it is. Okay, so fresh off the back of the news today. Uh didn't really think this would happen. Hello, Christine. How are you? Thank you for
Hi,
joining us.
Christine.
Um, I know this is like massive news. I wanted to speak about it this morning, but unfortunately I had to go to work. So it was just like a waiting time. But this is one of the people that I was talking about when we were naming celebrities. And we had to be careful of what we were saying. We knew that there were certain celebrities that were named A, B, C, D, E, blah, 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 blah. And he is now the first one that's been revealed, which for me is quite shocking that it is him first, because there are others to come out, but he's quite a big character, right? I mean, how did you feel when you heard about this news today, Lady Letitia? Because I was shocked it was him first, to be honest. I did
I'm
expect other
shocked.
people before him.
I was really shocked. I was
Is that
sorry.
is that an animal or is that something else? What was
It's
that?
my
What's that
dog
noise?
crying. Probably wants some chicken.
He sounds like he's demented. Is he all
Yeah,
right?
like he's dying or something. Like he's going Looney
Yeah,
Tune. He does that
that
all
was
the
that was
time.
crazy.
We're so
That's a
used
tech.
to it.
Is that a Texan dog? Is that what they sound like?
Yeah, that's it right there. That whine-a-thon. Anyway, I was shocked. I was shocked that the girl was 13 years old. I just thought that it was just shocking because it's on every news outlet. They're reporting it. And I wasn't sure if they were going to report it because they haven't been, they reported on Diddy, a little bit, but the YouTubers have been reporting on Diddy and what's been going on and stuff like that. So it's been on a lot of major news networks here. So it's worldwide.
Yeah. This is a massive, really, because I'd always suspected that Jay-Z had a really tight network around him,
Right.
and there was very difficult to penetrate the walls of the Carter Empire. I feel like they are shrouded in mystery, him and Beyonce, and they
True.
rose to stardom to a point where they had they're not particularly. I mean, I think Beyonce's talent. I'm not saying they're not talented, because that I'm taking on. I'm not a music person by no means, but Jay-Z hasn't got the best reputation in the rap industry. He's known for being someone that takes other people's lyrics, takes other people's identities,
Wow.
and makes money off the back of other rappers, because he isn't considered a good rapper in that
He's
industry.
not.
And no, no. So how has he got so rich? That is the question. And he's a good businessman. This is what a lot of the rappers say. He's a good at business, and that is how he's got the fortune and fame that he's acquired. Um, However, Beyonce as well. Again, a lot of people say, she's rose up. Is she as talented? I actually think that Beyonce's stage presence is great. I don't
Yes.
think she writes her own music. I don't think she writes her own stuff. And so it's very difficult to get to that top tier level if
Yes.
you're not really, really talented. And also they just don't. There's a lot of mystery around them when it comes
Yes.
to how they operate and how they live their life. I think other stars are quite open, and they seem to be quite closed off. Let's just have a look at these comments in the side section.
Very much
I guess
so.
the Jay-Z thing was bound to come out. I saw a picture of him, Diddy, and Aaliyah today. I've never seen before. Miss her. Yes, yes. So he's been around with. He was apparently dating Aaliyah, allegedly.
Oh,
She was very
wow.
young at the time, or he was with her. But then so was R. Kelly.
Right.
And she was a young girl in the industry and probably preyed upon because she was young and pretty. Obviously, she was a beautiful woman. He has had popular songs though, and yeah, you're right. He has obviously 99 Problems, the one. There's a few other ones that he's had,
Yeah, but
but I
he's not
don't.
like
Yeah,
Tupac, and he's not one of those that, I mean, his music is okay. Like, I wouldn't like
mhm.
pop his music in and be like, let's listen to Jay-Z. I would
No.
probably be more with um um Tupac Shakur. I mean, his music is just timeless.
Well, if you're a rap connoisseur and you're a lover of rap, I think you do go for the rap icons, and I don't think your Jay-Z is your go-to artist. But obviously there are people out there that like him. He has got some sort of fan base. But I don't even really think he's much of a likable character.
No,
Um, he's just hasn't got the stage presence and the popularity that other rappers have.
he doesn't
Um,
have this stage presence because
yes.
he was just on the stage and he got mad at the award saying that Beyonce should have won the award and all this other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
who are you on stage to do that? And then he did it in front of his daughter, which was embarrassing. And I think Beyonce was embarrassed, but she should be embarrassed right now because she's all about her image. It's all about Beyonce's image. If you don't have a squeaky clean image, then it bothers her. Like, she has an issue with her image being tainted. And now that her husband has come out with this, and then he mentions her in the deposition to the lawyer, to Busby, saying his family is this and his family is that. But whoa.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll come to his statement in a bit, but I wanted to just give a little bit more info on Jay-Z before we go into it, and Beyonce, because there's a lot of claims that she has been doing witchcraft against certain people. Drummer, I
Wow.
think, filed something against her where they like a restraining order. I think it was the drummer of or one of the musicians. And there is a lot of chatter about her being a witch and sacrifices. I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think that is something that is possible?
I think it's possible. I do. Because, and I've been hearing a lot more and more about it. Even my sister brought it up. She thinks that she does something with witchcraft, and she kind of puts herself off as a goddess. And she really comes across as someone godly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Mm,
above everything else and spelly like. So I really do think that she's into it. I do.
mm,
But
mm.
secretly.
Well, I think that there is a lot of conversation about a lot of celebrities that are involved in rituals and satanic behaviors, and you do see sort of demonic stage performances where
Right.
they are dressed up in very what you would call Satan-like clothing, dancing around in blood or in that black that they had all dripping over them. There's been a few celebrities that have done that, and that is that part of a ritual, is that part of a process to get to the next point of your career. And how real is it? Because you all hear whispers about witchcraft and demon like behavior, but is it actually happening? um
Right.
it's the Satan worship. Does it really exist, or is it just another kind of add-on to what's going on? But yeah, you're right, SCJ. The Tupac was 25 when he died, so he was really, really young, and he'd done so much in the way of music before he'd even died, which was crazy. And he's legendary, you know. And we all know, if you compare his music to that of Jay-Z's, you're going to go, well, what sounds better, you know?
Right.
And he wrote his own lyrics as well. Like a
Wow.
lot of the rappers that are successful, they do write their own stuff. Now let's get into this with Jay-Z. So this is crazy. So the rap allegations have turned of, I mean, sorry, the rap allegations are allegations. I can't say that word. Surrounding Jay-Z have taken a worrying turn. A third A-lister is said to be involved. Okay, now this is what's more concerning for me. So P. Diddy and his ongoing legal drama have an unnamed woman that claims she was arred by the pair of them after the 2000 MTV Music Awards. A civil lawsuit originally filed in New York's Southern District this past October against Coombs was refiled on Sunday, naming Carter as a defendant over an alleged incident at the MTV Awards that he denies. But the accuser, who's been identified as Jane Doe in legal documents, has claimed the assault took place at a party after the award ceremony. And a female celebrity has been listed on the latest lawsuit, which accuses Diddy and Jay-Z of arring a 13-year-old girl. Unbelievable, that age. I just you can't even fathom how and why and what's going on in their heads. It's absolutely diabolical. The anonymous accusers alleges she was assaulted at a house party after the awards in New York, and that an unnamed female celebrity was in the room at the time.
In the room. Who
In the
was that
room.
celebrity?
Wow. As a woman, to be an onlooker and watch that unfold, to not try and prevent that from happening,
Stop.
to even for that not to be an unnerving and horrifying experience, and to not have said anything, because this is to the year 2000. We're at 24 years later, and this A-list celebrity, which I'm guessing she still is, and I have a feeling who it is, I have a couple of ideas. This person's going to be named too.
Oh yeah.
This person's going to be named in the next couple of days, maybe even tomorrow. We've got to keep our eyes out, guys, because this is all going to unfold.
Yes.
And you do realize as well, Jay-Z, now we've opened the can of worms, and there's going to be more people coming forward. They're not going to stop, you know, because I think it's the gateway now to other people.
Yes, it's open.
The voice.
Yeah, the door is open, and now you can be touched. Before, he couldn't be touched. He couldn't be prosecuted. He couldn't be sued. They had too much power, too much clout, too much, you know, they were too high and mighty, too A-listers.
Yes. Well, I think that some of the protection is either come from being in Diddy's circle, or Jay's, you know, the powerhouse was there with you see, there was a setup and there was a tier system with how everything worked with these celebrities. But once one gets knocked down, they all start to fall down like cards, like a stack of cards, because we've heard from Jaguar Wright, and she's always been right since the beginning, before everybody knew even who she was. She was giving out this information, and everybody was calling her crazy, and, you know, not listening to what she was saying. But everything she says seems to come true, or it has truth to it. And she was right about Jay-Z. I mean, she's been very vocal about Jay-Z from the beginning. And that saying he is just as bad as Diddy. And to see this come out, it is him to be the first named is very interesting because he's a big powerhouse here.
Very
It,
so.
yeah, yeah. Now, if playing devil's advocate to this, he did get contacted. So Jay-Z says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. But he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. So he was offered a settlement beforehand in a civil lawsuit, right? So they were tried to get a payout before this could go any further.
Right.
But what I find very odd is that Jay-Z has turned that down. So he's actually gone and said, no, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So he will not give one penny. And these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, which they did. Whoever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims deserve a real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I had done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. So we'll go into who Tony Busby is after, because he's an interesting character. And my only heartbreak is for my family, which you were telling me earlier, Lady Letitia. My wife and I will still have to sit our children down, one of whom at the age of where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. And he goes on to say, I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such things at their young age, and it's unfair to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirits. I have no idea how you've come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over, and I'm prepared to deal with your type. Your claim to be, you claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor, and you have neither that, neither honor or dignity.
Talk too much.
So he goes on a bit more and talks about.
Too much. Isn't he?
Well, he's very defiant. I mean, he genuinely, he genuinely believes he's right. And so, what surprises me is he doing a double bluff, or is he genuinely innocent? Because when you've got someone that says, right, no, I'm not going to settle, he's not looking to hide away from this. And even if he is found innocent, this is still going to tarnish his name, because mud sticks, there's an accusation that's been thrown out. Now, there are still going to be a lot of people, whether his name is cleared, there are still going to be a lot of people that are going to just say, no, you're not touchable anymore as a business, and your whole what you've built. It's not as viable as it used to be, and we're not going to endorse you. And therefore, he's probably going to let you lose a lot of work, a lot of contacts, even if he is cleared. So it does surprise me that he's gone ahead and said, no, take it down the legal route. I mean, what do you think, sir? I've been blabbering on for ages. Go for it.
No, well, I thought the whole defiant, the way he was, I get that he's angry and upset and, talking about his family and, losing his innocence. I get that. But I felt like he was talking too much. I felt like he was telling off on himself. Like, I get that you're angry at Mr. Busby, but why didn't you just say, this is false accusations, I'll fight it in court, it's untrue, and I am upset that this is bothering my family, and move on? But to insult the man, talking about his military stuff and just going in the way he did, it was shocking to me.
Well, maybe because he hasn't got the best track record, Jay-Z thinks he might be onto a higher playing field here when it comes to this case, because
like he's above it.
Well, he's meant to be a bit of a charlatan, and I think if that is the case, then if his reputation is quite is not great, then Jay-Z might have the upper hand here, because it seems to be he's trying to expose him as sort of like a backstreet kind of uh backstreet kind of chancer, who's trying to take a penny, and he's got a reputation for that from before. So he's well known in the industry. It says here, I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have a very strict code of honor. We protect children, and you seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me. That if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. So he's really assassinating his character there, isn't he?
Right, yeah. And then he says it would be laughable. There's nothing funny about this, even if it was even if she was of age. There's nothing funny about this, Jay-Z. I just think he came off arrogant. I really do. I don't think he came off as a person that was, a victim. And that's how he portrayed himself, as the victim
He
in the
he
situation.
he does. He's always been arrogant, because he got up on stage. I remember when his daughter won a Grammy. Imagine that. So she's been an artist for all of 2 seconds. She's only
Right.
a young child. She won that Grammy because of who her parents are, not for
Right.
any other reason. And we know that. But he actually got on stage and insulted all the other musicians because
He
she won
did.
the Grammy. And some of y'all have never had an album, like, and got
Right.
and it was just like, whoa, hold on. Do
Yeah.
you
And some of
realize
you ain't even
the
good enough.
privilege you have? Exactly. You do not realize the privilege you have, that your daughter gets far more
Very
access
arrogant.
to things that other children would dream of, and she's won that Grammy because of who her parents are. It's as simple as that.
Do you think
And the
he's
Grammys are
scared?
fixed, we know that. Sorry.
Do you think he's scared, frightened, worried, concerned?
I think people like him and Diddy really have such a high ego. They're so self-assured and arrogant, like you said, Christine. They're arrogant. They really believe their own hype. So I don't think he is scared at the minute. I think he believes he's untouchable. And this is why he's gone forward and said, go ahead, go with the criminal case, because I'm untouchable. A bit like Diddy still thinks now that he's
I think he's
untouchable.
trying to threaten and to scare the witness and to scare Busby into closing the case. That's what I think. That's how he came across to me a little bit. Like, I'm coming for you now. I'm gonna make an example out of you. Be careful. Be very, very careful.
Yes. Yes. Well, again, it's a bit like Diddy when he threatens people without, that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Passive aggressive undertones. So, I mean, they know the power that they hold, and he's very confident, Jay-Z, because he's gone forward with it. He's allowing everybody to know what his charges are, where he could have just settled out of court, and no one would have been any of the wiser. So it's interesting, but it will now open the floodgates to either false allegations or real allegations, or both. But whatever it is, you're adding more fuel to this fire. It's not going to go out anytime soon. It's not going to go away for Jay-Z. And I can only imagine how Beyonce is actually,
Oh, she is cringeworthy,
yeah.
and she is really probably having a very difficult time with this because she's all about her image. They are secret. They're secretive about themselves, and you really don't know a whole bunch about them, only what you hear in the industry. But Beyonce is built on her reputation. And I know I can see her, if this is true, divorcing him, trying to get away from him, and so forth. But how much did you know? How much did you know? And like you said, Victoria, who else is going to come out of the woodwork?
And who else is going to come out of the woodwork? Also, we know that they had. There's a let's look at their timeline, for example, of when Jay-Z and how long Jay-Z and Beyonce have been together. So they've been together for quite some time now, but they've had their ups and downs. So she's fully
Yes.
aware of certain things that he's been up to. It's always him that's the problem.
Right.
So in 2000 they started to date, which is interesting because that was the date, that was the year of the alleged assault. So if you're looking at that, that's year 2000. Interesting. And then you go to, so I think then they released their Crazy in Love single in 2003. And they were happy for a while. They tied the knot in 2008. And then they had Blue Ivy in 2012, the same year as my daughter, so about the same age. And in 2014 was the attack in the elevator. Okay. So, and their response, do you remember when Solange attacks Jay-Z in the elevator? And that was
Yes.
massive news. Not Jay-Z,
Mhm.
sorry, Solange attacks Jay-Z in the elevator. That was massive news at the time. And then it was
Yes,
a
it
bit of an
was.
insight into what actually was happening in that relationship, because it's quite a secretive relationship.
Right.
And their response to that was, of course, sometimes shit goes down when it's $1 billion, when it's $1 billion on an elevator, and they'll have family problems. And the whole kind of conversation around this was sparking rumors that he was cheating. And it was something to do with someone at an event that he'd seen. And then she came, I think she used it as a marketing tool. So in 2016, she decided, right, I'm going to release Lemonade. And she confirms the cheating rumors, because then she owns what's happened. So she takes control of that situation, and she made a
Responsibility.
mint off that album, right?
Right.
And there were a lot of clues about Jay-Z in the album. So if everybody wants to go back and listen to Lemonade, then do that and just get an idea of how she felt about him at the time and what he was up to. Obviously this is a whole different level. I mean, this isn't just cheating, is it? This is disgusting, sick, deviant behavior.
Right.
But what is also concerning is that you've got two men predators there together doing what they want to do, and a woman is on watching in the year 2000. Remember, this is the same year, guys, I'm going to repeat it, the same year that Beyonce and Jay-Z got together. Let's just let that sink in for a second, because I know
Wow.
there's other rumors going around, but I'm not saying anything. But you just think about, who could that A-lister be? This
Wow.
is where her church persona, that she's a very religious lady,
Yes.
does that hold true? Is she a very religious lady Letitia?
I don't know. Don't she have a church? Don't she own, like, started up a church? I think she started up a church, Victoria, and they said it's witchcraft around it. But I get her, the religious part. I do see that, because her and the other two girls that were in Destiny's Child, they sang a few church songs together. But I think that, so you think that she may have been in the,
Oh,
allegedly.
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I was thinking J-Lo.
Well, J-Lo was no longer around. She was around, but she's at a different stage. So remember,
Oh,
J-Lo
okay.
was with Diddy a long time before that. And I think in the year 2000, if I'm correct, and I'm going to double check it, she was dating someone completely different.
Okay.
She may not have been quite on the same circuit. Let me have a look. J-Lo dating who in
Do we think
2000?
that the lady, the celebrity, the woman celebrity that was in there watching, was she drugged too?
Well, that is a different angle to look at it. If that is the case, then it's not the onus is never on her because she wouldn't have been able to do anything at the time. But if she was witnessing it and she saw it and she couldn't do anything at that moment in time because she was inebriated, but then afterwards, if she did see it, she never said anything. So she's
Right.
24 years late, too late.
Yeah.
So she was never going to say anything unless she didn't witness anything and she was completely out of it. Then that's a different story. But the case doesn't look like that's what it was. But we're probably going to get more details the next couple of days. I'm sure there's more to come. So I think Jennifer Lopez was married to Ojani. So in February 1997, she's married quite a few people, hasn't she? So that's quite hard to keep up with. And she was with him for some time. So I personally don't think it's Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
Just because, okay, no, actually, sorry. Ojani, let me have a look. So she was, hold on. Oh, no, she wasn't. You're right, Lady Letitia. Hold on. So she was with Diddy to 2001. Oh, so she could have been her. So there's a little bit of it. So I've got Ojani here. There's two different dates. So she finished with him in 1998, and she was with Diddy up until 2001. Okay, wow. Because she's had a lot of different people, so it's hard to keep up with the
Her
timeline.
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, so she dated Diddy from 1999 to 2001. So that is in the time of the 2000 alleged assault. So, okay.
Wow.
I thought that was way before that. So I do apologize. I actually thought that was way before that. And then she was with Chris Judd, 2001 to 2003.
Mm.
And then Ben Affleck, 2002 to 2004. She seems to only have like a 2-year relationship, and then she goes to the next one. It's got there's a massive timeline. 2000s, yeah, Bradley Cooper. Oh my god, yeah, it goes on and on and on. Okay, so that's interesting. So possibly, okay, that's interesting. I actually, I really thought J-Lo was in the early 90s. It doesn't feel like it was that recent. That's mad, isn't it?
Okay. Yes, it is.
And have other people been saying J-Lo as well? There's two possibilities now then, I think. Someone else has said another celebrity's A-lister, but again, I'm just thinking, was that the right timing? But I was wrong about J-Lo, so maybe. Go on, tell me.
I can't imagine Beyonce allowing anyone to give her some type of drink that would knock her out and make her inebriated to the point where she's sitting there watching this and, not remembering it. And it would be very damaging if she was in that room and watching it and they call her name and say that Beyonce was the A-lister that was in the room. I think it's over. It's over for both of them.
Interesting.
Because, like you said, Beyonce sat there and watched it and didn't say anything for so many years and still hasn't said anything. But you saw what happened and you were there and you were named in the lawsuit. That would be very damaging to her.
It's
and I know
damaging.
She was realistic.
It's very damaging, and it's very concerning that she wanted to marry him, or if that is the case, or anybody that was just not to say anything and continue to be around that culture,
Right.
and nothing bother you. And I'm sure that probably wasn't the first time she's seen that, and it wouldn't have been the last time. So
Right.
she's in, whoever this person is
A
implicated in all
regular.
this,
Yeah.
because if you're a bystander and you're watching it, you're just as bad, as
Exactly.
far
Oh
as I'm
God, yes.
concerned.
You're complicit. You're part of the situation
Mm.
because you could have done something to save the girl.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's a civil suit, Christine. She was asking about something, but this is a civil suit. It's not a criminal suit. And it can turn into a criminal suit, criminal charges. You can first start off with civil and it can turn into criminal, especially depending on the case itself. And they can easily charge him with criminal. So while he's saying it, it's right at the door, because the judge could say, why are we not charging him with criminal charges if this is real? So
Okay,
he's
so let's go into a bit of background about Tony Busby, so we get an idea of who he is, and the information that he's received. Yeah, so
okay.
he's a lawyer involved in some of the biggest lawsuits in America, and it's included in the Astroworld Festival lawsuit. And so when he filed the lawsuit against Sean Corey Carter, assaulting a minor, apparently he had hundreds of phone calls about him already. Okay, and there is sufficient evidence. Whatever that evidence is, doesn't say. He graduated from Texas A and M University. I don't know if you know where that is, Lady Letitia, because you are
Yes, I
there.
do.
With a bachelor's degree in psychology before deciding to join the Marine Corps.
He's
And
an
then while in
Aggie.
the military, sorry, say that again.
He's an Aggie. He's Texas A&M is their mascot is called Aggies. They're
Oh, okay.
green and
Okay.
white.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's
Is
like
it
an
too far? Is it
engineering
far?
school.
Is it near to you?
It's about a couple of hours. It's not that far. It's about a couple of hours. My girlfriend graduated from that school.
Ah, okay, okay. So while he was in the military, he served in the Persian Gulf and Somalian conflicts, and was given a commendation medal for his bravery. And when he finished army, he hung up his boots. He enrolled at the University of Houston Law Center and graduated as the second best performing student in his class. So he's done quite a lot. I mean, he's been a busy man. He's definitely got a lot of ambition to
Yes.
do well and succeed. He had a short stint as a briefing attorney and as a member of Sussman Godfrey before setting up his own law firm. And he established his own law firm, funnily enough, in the year 2000. Busby Law Firm.
Oh.
Yeah. Tony had handled some huge cases, including the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and the Astroworld Festival lawsuit, which we mentioned earlier. And he represents 15 of the rig workers and dozens of shrimpers, seafood restaurants, and dock workers affected by the Deepwater Horizon spill. Okay, so he's got his fingers in a few pies. And BP eventually settled with the Department of Justice after a lengthy legal battle, and he reportedly paid $47 billion in compensation. So he's won a few legal cases. He's done quite well. Tony represented 120 of the victims of the Astroworld Festival who were died or crushed or injured. And he filed a lawsuit against the rapper Travis Scott, who hosted the event, and the case was again settled out of court. So he probably puts quite a high amount on these cases, because 750 million is a lot. And normally maybe the rappers then, or whoever he's filing against, will settle outside of court, and that's maybe what they hope for.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he hopes Jay-Z would do, to settle
Yes, he
outside
was.
of court so it wouldn't damage his reputation. And
But see, if Jay-Z had settled, then doesn't that admit guilt?
say that again, sorry.
If if Jay-Z had a settle with Busby and Jane Doe, would like the public see that as a guilty verdict? Like, you're
Yes,
guilty because
it
you
could
cheat them
be, but
off.
then is that settling out of court wrapped in red tape? So does that information get leaked? I think a lot of artists settle stuff out of court and we don't hear about it because
Okay.
that's the way it goes away quietly. It's still there somewhere. It will be still document somewhere. I'm getting
Right.
very good at all this law stuff now, by the way. Can definitely start training. But I'm thinking that there might be a possibility to still access that, and that could be detrimental if it's kept quiet. I think he's in a sticky situation, whatever. If settling does look like you're not innocent and you're guilty and you just want it to go away. But on the other hand, bringing it to light, it doesn't paint you in a good picture. Even if he wasn't a participant, he could have just been there and watched what happened when Diddy was doing it. There are some multiple different scenarios, but he's definitely been involved somehow, somewhere, whether
Right.
he's completely participated or not, in acts or lewd acts on unwilling participants and minors.
Minor.
You know?
Exactly. A minor.
It's very difficult to grasp how intricate their relationship is. But when you listen to Jaguar Wright, she talks about their relationship being very tight knit. And we've seen the fall down of Kanye, right? And him and Jay-Z were very tight. And Kanye's still a big name, but he's deemed as crazy by the industry because he's spoken out on certain things, and that looks bad upon other people. And anybody that does speak out is deemed uncrazy, or their opinion holds no weight because they will gaslight these celebrities. Look at Orlando. Is it Orlando Brown? Again,
Brown.
him. He's also deemed as crazy. There was Cat Williams for a long time, couldn't get any work because of what was going on with his revelations, and at the time that was completely shut down. And he's only started to come back into the fold again because he said everything will come to light in 2024. So he knew what was going to happen.
Right.
He was fully aware.
Do you remember that phone call Diddy had in jail with his son about the pizza boxes and stuff? Remember when he brought up Jay? He said, Jay's ghost me. He's ghost. He hasn't contacted me. He hasn't contacted us. He hasn't said anything. So I'm assuming he was talking about Jay-Z. He had ghosted them. And you could tell Diddy was a little upset on the phone if that phone call was true.
Okay, so let's look at this. It's probably true because I believe as soon as anyone gets an accusation, their whole PR team says to that artist, do not be seen with that person, do not contact that person. And they listen because it's their career. They will fight for their career tooth and nail. Really, none of these people are friends. I would say that they are associates, and they scratch each other's backs when needed. Now, you remember when R. Kelly went to prison? And do you remember, this is horrifying, right? I watched one of their music videos the other day with R. Kelly and Diddy in it. If you remember that, You don't look like it. Do you remember that song? They've got a song
No.
together anyway. You guys will find it.
Okay.
And they're just walking through like a room, and they think they're really great. And I just think, God, these two were predators at their peak
Yeah.
at this time, and that's why they're mates, because they both have the
Right.
same mindset. Do you think Diddy was helping R. Kelly out when that all went to Tosh? No, of course not.
No, I
You
think
know,
R. Kelly had his own demons. Like he had his own thing going on with young girls. I think that was his own fetish fantasy that he was doing. I really do. And then I think, honestly, I think Jay-Z got caught up. You know how like you're there and then, oh, might as well kind of a thing? Or do you think he had his own freak offs?
when he's promiscuous, that's for
Right.
sure, because he wasn't faithful
Exactly.
to Beyonce. I think he's got a few children out of that marriage as well that have been kept hidden.
Yes.
So that's never come to light. I mean, you know what made me laugh as well the other day? This is about a year ago. I never knew Snoop Dogg was married. He's been married for
Oh,
like 20 odd years,
to his
right?
high school sweetheart.
Yeah, but he's had multiple side, whatever they call them,
Did
side
he? Was
hoes,
he?
or
I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's been
Yeah.
unfaithful to her from day one, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
never knew about her until about a year, 2 years ago, or something like that, and I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay, so this woman's been kept in the background, suffered in
Yes.
silence. And
She's
now
real
you're a bit
quiet.
older, Snoop. You're happy to bring her out and show her off. But
Right.
I think he did a post on his Instagram about how wonderful these years have been, and everybody's been writing underneath, but you've cheated on her like multiple times. So these women either they put up with it because of what the lifestyle entails, or they just carry
Right.
on,
I don't want
turning a
to
blind
be
eye to certain
yeah.
behaviors. Mm. So Beyonce, she could have known about the infidelity, which she did. We know that because she wrote an album about it. But did
Yes.
she know was there more? Did she have an idea? Did she know about more things that he was doing? Things that were
Right.
deviant behavior, things that were illegal behavior? Was she
Exactly.
implicit in that?
Did she know about
Um,
Diddy? Like, you're at home. Hey, honey, Jay-Z. Hey, honey, Beyonce. I'm gonna go hang out with Diddy. I'll be back. And you're thinking, oh
I
wow.
love that you put that up.
You're going over there to Diddy's house? Okay, I'll see you later. Then he come back in the morning and you're like, you don't know what happened or what went down.
Why are you covered in baby oil?
Yeah, why
Why are
you
you
smell
covered
like
in
baby
baby
oil?
oil, Jay-Z?
Why you oily?
Why are you oiled up? We shouldn't laugh because it's really not funny at all.
I know, I
But
know.
it's I think a lot of them know what they're doing. I just think it's a
I do
different
too.
world. But
Well, Ellen knew. Everybody knew about Diddy's parties. Everyone knew. The whole, like, everyone knew about his parties, which was interesting because they'll talk about it in secret. Like Ellen was like, what kind of parties, or just kind of, making statements about his after parties. And he loved talking about it. He loved talking about his freak offs to a certain extent. And so when we look back and listen to it, we're like, wow, it was here all along. He was doing this right
well,
under our noses.
they were telling us in plain sight, weren't they? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
they were. They tell us. They get off on that. People like Diddy. They get off on telling us snippets of what's going on. It's like a bit of a thrill. Like, I can reveal a little bit, but they're not going
Right.
to know. It's a joke. It's in jest. So it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
anything. But the jokes are serious. That's the
They're
problem.
serious. Exactly.
Um,
And they've caught
and
up.
there's more detail to it. So apparently Jay-Z and Sean Diddy took turns, allegedly,
Right.
R-ing the 13-year-old girl. So they went back and forth, and yeah, unbelievable.
It was detailed.
what is a 13-year-old girl doing though
That's what I said.
at an
What
after
is it?
party?
Where's your mommy?
Yeah,
Where's your parents?
yeah.
Where is
Mm.
everyone? What are you doing at a premiere? She said she got dropped off by a friend. What friend would drop you off at 13 years old? And how do you get a ride? I didn't know anybody at that age that had a car. You know, it just
Mm.
a lot of it, I question it just a little bit because I'm like, how did you get yourself in that situation? Not to say that this victim couldn't have gotten herself into this situation, but it's just wild that she was able to.
Yeah, how does she end up at an after party at 13 for a VMA awards? That's, I mean, that's
Mhm.
every young girl's dream, I suppose, if you're in if you like that sort of music.
Right.
So how did that happen?
I'm
So
trying
the
to think of
laws,
what the hell I was doing at 13. I don't know. I wasn't. I,
you're just lucky you're in Texas and not in Hollywood. You'd be in
yeah,
California.
I didn't even. I was riding bikes and roller skating.
The it's not a great place to grow up, obviously, Hollywood or California. I don't know. Things like that are going down. So apparently Coombs, so we know this anyway. Coombs abused, molested, raped. I shouldn't have said that. Odd, assaulted, threatened, and coerced women and minors and others for decades. And it also, this lawsuit also describes Jay-Z as being witness to many of his alleged crimes over the years.
I wonder, like you said in the beginning, how many more people are going to come out, but how many more people does Busby have that has Jay-Z's name on it? And how many other people are when it's going to be shocking if there's more people that come out against Jay-Z. It'll be hard for him to fight it if there's more and more victims.
Mm. Well, this is the thing, the
Like the,
floodgates have opened, and
yeah,
apparently Tony Busby is saying that there's hundreds of people that have come forwards. Now, this is just
yeah,
the first taster session, if you like. There's probably a lot more to come because there is I don't think Jay-Z is really looking at the bigger picture of
no,
this, that this is opening a big wound here.
a big
Eve,
one.
yeah, because even if he's not not done the deed, so to speak, if he's an onlooker, he's still implicit in that. I don't think he realizes, how damaging that is to him.
Yeah.
So they apparently approached the limo driver outside of the event, approached the girl and invited her into the after party. And he allegedly said she would fit what Diddy was looking for. So the limo driver's also the accomplice. She was later driven to a house where the party was being held and was made to sign a form. She now believes, which was a non-disclosure agreement. Of course, you're not going to know what that is when you're
No.
13. You're not going to know what you're doing. Apparently, the party she reportedly saw widespread D use, including the M and the green and the white stuff. We know what that is. Which I mean is pretty standard in Hollywood parties. A waitress later offered her a drink which tasted bitter, and after ingesting it, the Jane Doe felt woozy and lightheaded, making her need to lie down. She claims she found an empty bedroom in the house with only a bed inside, where she went to lie down without locking the door. It's horrible. After Diddy, Jay-Z, and an unknown female celeb referred to only as Celebrity B entered the room. And Diddy aggressively approached the plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." He then threw her towards a wall before grabbing her and chucked her onto the bed. And then Jay-Z allegedly removed her clothes before holding her down and ahhing her. And then he stepped back, allegedly allowing Diddy to do the same thing.
What is that?
that's just come through
Take
to me
it,
now.
turn.
I don't know if everybody else has heard about this yet. It's just come through to me now. I don't know. You might have heard of. I've just got that
Yeah, I've
information.
heard it. That was the details
Okay.
in
Okay.
which
Yeah.
what happened to her.
Mm,
Those were the details in which what she's
wow.
accusing him of.
Mm, unbelievable. I
It
can't believe
is.
it.
I can't
It's
believe it
disgusting.
either. It's like, whoa. But I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the ripple effect to happen. I'm waiting for them to come out and start saying, I was. And if that happens, is he going to be put in criminal? Are they going to go for they are going to go for criminal. If he, I cannot see if they have the evidence that they have to go against Jay-Z to sue him civil, then they have a chance to also do that in criminal. So he's bored while he's edging it on, talking about go ahead and sue me for criminal. They're coming for you.
It's, you know what, I think these rappers or these celebrities, they bank on the fact that information and memory gets lost over time, and evidence gets lost over time,
Oh
because
yeah.
you've got that 24-year gap, and
And then they got
a
away
lot.
with it. They think
Yeah.
they got away with it.
So it's almost like they think time is on their side. But I think when there is sufficient enough evidence, this is what I believe, I could be wrong. So you can hold a civil lawsuit. It has, if you've got enough evidence, then and you can turn that into a criminal lawsuit. I think if it's the criminality of it goes beyond the civil lawsuit. I'm explaining this well enough. Then it turns into a criminal one. And this is what has happened with a lot of information, that's because there's civil lawsuits against Diddy at the moment, as well as
Right.
the criminal ones, but they can start injecting the civil ones in there.
Right.
If there's sufficient evidence. That's the simplicity of that. I think it's a little bit more complicated, but that's what I know of how that works. I'm gonna kind of look into that a little bit more and get some more info on it. And yeah, you're right. There you go. Is there a statute of limitations in there
No,
as well?
there
I
is
don't know.
no, not when it comes to this, because it's not. There's not a statute of limitations. If you can find a reason that this is criminal, going from civil to criminal, you can charge them with criminal. That's what I was watching this lawyer the other day, and he said there's no statute of limitations on this.
Good. And what I found out as well, because I'm always cautious, I'm always things NDA stuff. Great, that's great for when you're, signing things away and keeping things secret. But when there's a criminality involved, that becomes void.
But
so
she was underage
it doesn't stand.
anyway.
Yeah,
and
so that's the crime.
Right.
So
the NDA didn't apply to her because she was underage and she didn't get permission from her parents to sign the NDA. So it's non and void. It's a voided contract. It means nothing.
And when an act of crime occurs, that doesn't stand anymore, because it's not That's not legal. So NDAs are all well and good, but if you're doing criminal activities, they're pointless. Really, I mean, they might hold you off for a little while, but everything, like I say, everything you do in the dark comes to light. And this is a prime example. 24 years later, the boy's, he's now embroiled in this case. And what a terrible case to be embroiled in. I mean, you couldn't really think of anything worse to be associated with,
Like, I don't mean to bring her up, Megan, but like how Megan is with her staff, she has them sign an NDA, I can still sue you for being a boss that is a bully. I can still sue you. They can still, just because I signed the NDA doesn't mean that I can't sue you for being a bully of a boss. There's a name for it, I forgot. But I can still sue you. Just because I signed an NDA doesn't mean that I can't, because of how you treated me as an employee.
Oh no. Yes, but I do think that it's how, I don't know. Okay, so let's have a look. So I don't want to say the wrong thing because I am not a lawyer, and this is where, I mean, and also the law applies completely differently to that of our law here. So I mean, to navigate through that, and your law out there is quite in depth, and each state has its own law as well. So that can get quite complicated. But the statute of limitations here, it's saying here, unlike other European countries or much of the United States, the UK has no official statute of limitations, which is interesting. I didn't know that. I was just trying to find the American one, and if it also applies to the civil cases. Statute, so everything comes up in here of the UK, which I'm not interested in. And it could apply differently for each state as well. Yes, okay. So United States, here we go. It may vary from jurisdiction, which we've said already, and state to state. And internationally, the statute of limitations may vary from one civil or criminal action to another. So this is where it gets really complicated. And civil, hold on, that's popped off. Wonderful. In most jurisdictions, such periods exist for both criminal law and civil law, such as contract law and property law, though often under different names with varying details. So there isn't a time on this particular. Are we looking at this being trial? Where? So if the offence occurs in one state and is being trialed in another, what state do we go and look at the law, and what law do we use?
I think you use the law where the victim is.
Okay, so it would be California. Would have been California then, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I think they fall under that, I'm guessing. But the lawyer's here in Texas, so I wonder, is he falling under the Texas?
This is where I don't know. Such as the limitations in California. Wow, I'm going to have to really do some. I know. It's very interesting, isn't it? How this works. I'm not getting that information up here. If anybody else knows, do let me know. I'm trying to find it. Civil statute of limitations. I've got that here. Oh, ranging from 1 year to 10 years in civil statute of limitations, and that's in California. That's a very short time. So that's interesting, but it can turn into criminal with enough evidence.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Wow. I'm going to have to do a real deep dive into that, because that's a bit of a crossover there of where every trial was held, what state the person's from, what state the crime was committed, what applies to what. And it occurred in California with the lawyers from Texas. Yes. So it must apply to California.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because when I sued someone, I had to give them their address. I had to give them their location. But I went down to my precinct and filed with my precinct, and then the constables delivered the lawsuit to the person I was suing, the paperwork.
Oh, you've been suing people, have you, young lady?
Messing up
my goodness me. I better be careful of you then.
I know. They get upset.
I won't upset you, Lady Letitia, please.
Oh,
because there's no statute of limitations here, so you can get me whenever you want. Wow, I mean, what an interesting conversation. And do you know what? We might do some more lives this week because there's probably going to be more information. It's going to probably be quite full on this week with lives and conversations. Lady Letitia, if you want to join me, we can follow this completely through the week. I'm guessing there's more stuff that's coming out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure of it. Tomorrow is going to be a brand new day of information. If not, Wednesday is perfect because that's the day we're doing a live anyway. So yeah, can't believe
Thursday,
it.
Right? The Royal Chaos.
The Royal Chaos will be Friday again. I think it will be on Paula's channel. I know you want to do it on yours as well, don't you? So we're just rotating it up until we know what's going on with our platforms and stuff. We're just keeping it fresh, keeping it going. And we loved it last time. So yeah, we're going to go on Paula's and just tune in, like, subscribe and all that jazz. And I appreciate you all for joining us tonight. I know you've had a full-on day of Jay-Z stuff, and I know everybody's been covering it, but I know I'm late to the party as always. But there you go. That's just life. But thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining me too, Lady Letitia.
Bye, chat. Thank you, guys.
And links in the description box. God bless and good night. Take care. See you soon. Bye.